I go straight from the bank, gassing up the tank, cranking up the radio, playing old Hank, and it ain't that long till I'm back at the pond. I'm pulling up the truck down at the dock. It's time to do some cruising, baby, get a little stuck. It's a Saturday joyride, Percy Priest is the spot to take the blues away. We're on a boat, we're feeling fine, drinking Tennessee whiskey, a big blue sky. We're going up, we're coming down. There's a party on the water, it's a hell of a time. We're on a boat, we're killing time, in our own honky tonk with a bottle of wine. We're going up, we're coming down. Cheers to feeling alright, it's a hell of a time.
Hey there everybody, welcome back. Here we are in the part 2 of the Nikon Z9 review about wildlife. We're here at Moraine State Park. It is basically a blue sky day, so it's probably gonna have some harsh shadows. We're gonna be cranking the shutter, and whenever the shadow side of the animal is towards us, we're gonna be cranking the ISO for that too. So we'll see how well the ISO works. And as I take pictures and they come up on the screen, I'll put little screenshots of the exposure. Right now it's about 10:30 in the morning. It is already 76 degrees. It's going to be a really hot day today for the summer solstice. The irony, I guess, of that. It is going to be 95 out, so hopefully we're out of the water before it hits 95, but we're prepared with our bug spray and our sunscreen so we don't burn to death. I got drinks in the bag, and we're gonna be ready to go. And we gotta make sure also that we wear our floppy hats. Might look a little doofy, but keeps the sun off you and you can actually see better. It looks like it's pretty overgrown out there, so hopefully we can get through it pretty easily in a kayak, and hopefully we'll get some cool birds and wildlife out there. So really my number one fear of this whole outing isn't really the camera, isn't overheating when it's 95 degrees out in direct sun, blue skies, is one, we're not gonna see anything because it's so hot and bright out and all the animals are gonna wanna hide, and two, the GoPro is gonna last a whole 5 minutes because it's gonna overheat in, like, 5 minutes. So I'm seeing a lot of fish action jumping around me here. There's a lot of little water skippers on the surface here, so hopefully that'll entice some osprey to come out of hiding later. It's all about learning your environment when it comes to wildlife photography. If you just go into it blindly, best of luck is all I can say. So we're going to be using 3D tracking today. We'll be trying that out with the subject detection and with eye detection turned on with it. So it kind of like works in conjunction with each other. We're using the ZCAM IPMAN Gemini again, and I honestly cannot see my screen very well on the phone. I just know where the record button is to record the EVF, so hopefully that works out okay. We're starting out with a full battery, and already got the camera set up for this kind of lighting. We're kind of starting out at 1/3200th of a second, f6.3 and ISO 640. So pretty good for this kind of weather, honestly, because this is kind of a slower lens, the Sigma 150 to 600. It is adapted on the FDZ2. And I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about the phone falling off into the water. So not really worried about the camera or the GoPro or anything else in the boat, but I am worried about the phone slipping out of that thing. So we'll go see what we find. So we're creeping up on what looks like a heron. Yep, blue heron. Now with a busy background like that, the camera does seem to still struggle a little bit with locking on. So next time I have that experience, I'm going to try dynamic. That way, whatever the points are on, it'll autofocus on that and not worry about anything else. But as you can tell, I still got the picture, even though it was kind of hunting on the background. Really not a huge deal, but if it was an osprey diving next to a bunch of foliage like that, you might lose that a little bit. An osprey just flew over right in front of us, and I turned on the GoPro real quick, got some pictures of it. It looks like he's down there hovering Man, I am super excited about Osprey. They're like one of my favorite birds to photograph. They're so big, they're kind of majestic almost. They don't really care that you're there. They just kind of hang out. It's like so relaxing. And right now it looks like there's a little bird chasing them. It's probably like a kingbird or something like that. But here he comes again, so we're gonna try. He's hovering looking for fish. I need a kayak that has a pedal on it. And I smacked the camera with the off thing. I need to do yoga. This wind is brutal. This is kind of like my secret little go-to spot for Osprey. Too much weeds and lilies for really boats to get into. Perfect for kayaks and Osprey. So we have the white lily flowers here, blossoming. Personally, I think they are some of the best looking flowers there is. So we're going to take a little flower portrait with the Sigma. Honestly, it's just like the perfect reflection. It's gorgeous. So this is a first for Moraine for me. There's a tree over here with 3 or 4 cedar waxwings sitting on, so we're going to try and sneak over to that from this position. I already got a couple shots, so let's try and get closer to get something a little nicer. Really hoping Nikon gets their shit together, gets their Z200 600 out, because this Nikon on the Sigma 150 600, it constantly wants to breathe forward and backward if there's a small subject. And that is such a huge pain in the ass. But I mean, to be honest, it's kind of done that on every camera body I've had on. That's like the D3400, the D500, the Z7 II, now the Z9. They've all done it. So we're really not camera specific on that one, it feels like. Short note on that Oriole that just showed up. I literally just picked the camera up, went like this, and just shot it like a minigun. And the last picture, it was in frame at 600 millimeters and in focus. So I have no idea how I managed to do that one. There's a deer over there getting a nice little drink of water. He slips back into the bank. So much for getting a photo and video of that. And if just something to think about, if the autofocus setting you're using, like I tried using auto area right there, didn't pick up the dragonfly, switch over the dynamic or single point, it'll pick it right up and you'll get the shot that you need to. And as mentioned in part 1, I mapped the record button in photo mode to cycle through the autofocus selection much faster than trying to use the one on the side, which is just, to me, it's just a huge pain in the ass with the big lenses. Ooh, and a kingfisher flying by pretty good there, using dynamic. Looks like he had some kind of fish in his mouth. That looks like a baby pike. Honest to God, that looks like a baby pike. That is freaking cool. That's gotta be like the coolest thing I've ever photographed in a while. A freaking kingfisher grabbing a baby pike. Coming up on a blue heron again. Kind of remind me of like weird pterodactyls. The wind is a killer. If anyone out there watching this wants to donate me a pedal kayak or sponsor the channel, I would be in your debt. So the one thing I've learned, if you're gonna do video with the Z9 of wildlife and they're kind of far away and don't 100% fill the frame, especially if there's like a busy background, you absolutely need to use 3D tracking. If you try to use auto area, it will not know what it is doing. It will just kind of grab stuff all over the place. So if you're using it on wildlife for video, you gotta use 3D area if it's got a busy background and doesn't fill the frame. Now, if it's against the sky or like, you know, it's the bland background, audio area for video works fine. Now for photography, auto area works amazing if it doesn't have a busy background, just like video. If it's in the sky, never misses. If it's a large object and fills the frame, kind of like the cars in part 1, it does really well with that. But if it is giving you problems like locking on and the subject's right there, but it's got a busy background, like say for instance a flower or a bug on a flower or something hovering, then you're going to want to use 3D tracking or single point. And I found that if it's a very busy background, like with all the brush and stuff around, dynamic area works really good for that too, as we've seen earlier with the kingfisher. We're going to do a no, not great heat test here. We're going to try and film this heron fishing. Cropped 4K 120. I got a fish. Fish number 2. Looks like he had a little bluegill there. Let's switch over to photo real quick. Let's go to DX mode. Back to video. Just that easy. Now on the video here, we are shooting at about the equivalent of about 1250 millimeters. 4K 120 crop has a crop of 2.3. You can see the 2.3x crop in the top right of the EVF blinking. There's got to be a way to put a fluid head in a freaking kayak. My hands are killing me. For people that want to do wildlife photography from the kayak, the #1 rule I can give you is park it in a pile of weeds and hope the wind doesn't move you. So I guess the Heron got a couple fish here and moved on to his next fishing spot. So as you can tell, we had no heat warnings. We've recorded about 25 minutes of 4K 120 and some other versions. Yeah, the GoPro overheated. That's why it went underwater temporarily. The phone is getting pretty hot from being in direct sun. The lens is warm. The camera body does feel warm. But yeah, no problems in this 95-degree blue sky day. Let's check the... We've used half the battery. We've been out here for 3 hours. I've taken 888 photos, maybe more here in a second. Looks like our Heron friend got a nice big catch at something. So as you can see, the battery is going to last all day. I didn't turn the camera off once in the 3 hours we were out here, so that should really show for the overheating and the battery life, because this battery is freaking huge. So yeah, for the rest of this review, we're not going to talk about battery life. It's kind of a moot point at this point in the testing. So, on to the next section. So it's been a few days since we were out in the kayak. I had time to look over all the footage, all the photos, and I'm just honestly blown away by the quality you can get out of this thing for slow motion, especially on those herons when it's catching the fish, and it was landing with that big sunfish, bluegill, whatever that was like amazing. And the only thing that could probably make it better is if you were out in morning sun like this, out in the kayak. If you enjoyed this and you wanted to see the unboxing, if you wanted to see the menu walkthrough, the setup, all that stuff, go check out part 1. The part 1 was more about auto racing, sports, aviation. I really enjoyed the aviation part, but I think wildlife, I really connect a lot more with the wildlife, so I enjoyed part 2 here a lot more than part 1. I've been trying to collect some like a questionnaire sort of thing. If you have any questions, put it down there and I'll make a video out of it maybe over time if I get enough. Now if you've had any questions about the equipment I've used, like the bags, the backpacks, the ZCAM IPMAN Gemini, or any of the lenses, anything like that, leave me a comment down below. I probably have a review of some of the stuff already out, but if you have any ideas, it'll give me you know, suggestions for future videos. Now, if you really liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, like, then thumbs up the video itself, leave a comment, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I really want to do just videos on like wildlife by themselves and their natural habitat. No more of this talking head in some of the videos, no more of me just using my voice, no voiceovers, just some like, you know, relaxing music. And we're going to just see the animals and insects and everything in their natural habitat. Just dedicate the videos just to them. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I got quite the plans ahead for it. So until next time, I'll see you out there, and happy shooting. I wish you the best of luck. Hope you're not afraid of the deep.